Awesome. Okay, everyone is here. Excellent. Okay, let me share my screen real quick. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our group debate regarding the use of telehealth within the fields of ABA and special education. My name is Jakita Milner, and I will moderate today's debate. We have an exciting discussion ahead of us, and I would like to thank you all for being here. Before we begin, let me briefly introduce our topic. Today, we will be debating whether telehealth should be widely adopted as a primary mode of healthcare delivery. Telehealth refers to the use of digital information and communication technologies, such as computers and mobile devices, to access healthcare services remotely. On the affirmative side, we have Fatima, and on the opposing side, we have Paula, who will argue in favor of telehealth. No, wait, sorry. Okay. Okay, on that, yeah. We will argue against the widespread of adoption of telehealth. Each side will present their arguments and rebuttals. We will strictly be adhering to the time limits to ensure a fair and orderly debate. Here is the format for today's debate. Each side will have 6 minutes to present their opening statements. Each side will have 6 minutes to address and refute the opposing arguments, followed by a 6-minute cross-examination. And I will conclude this with a summary and Q&A. Well, that's cross-examination. Okay. So let's begin with the opening statements. The affirmative side will start. You have 6 minutes. You may begin.
Hi, my name is Fahima, and I am in support of telehealth. The reason why I'm in support of telehealth because telehealth has many positive aspects when it comes to behavior analysis therapy. In many places, there's a shortage of BCBAs and a demand of ABA therapy. For instance, here in Minnesota, there is 1 in 34 people that have been diagnosed with autism, showing that there is a high diagnosis and a need for BCBAs. Because of the need for BCBAs, the ones that are currently working have heavy caseloads, and with telehealth, it would widen the options for BCBAs in different cities and avoid having to be on long waiting lists and allow for sooner appointments. Telehealth also removes the complications that occur when agencies take on more clients than they are staffed for. And the option for recording sessions allows for BCBAs to monitor progress, provide better feedback, and also provide better treatment fidelity. Watching recorded videos also allows more time for training, time saved on commuting, and also allows for management of caseloads and also prevents burnout. Another benefit for telehealth is being able to see the behavior in its natural environment, because the clients would be at home, and that would give the BCBA more accurate results and better insight on the triggers of the problematic behavior. Another benefit of telehealth is it removes possible language barriers because it widens the options of BCBAs outside of the local immediate available BCBAs, which can make it easier and more likely to find a therapist who or an analyst who speaks in the client's primary language. Telehealth is also suitable for clients who have severe behavioral issues such as property destruction and aggression. And the final benefit of telehealth would be that it's cost saving. It's associated with cost saving. Um, Things that you can save on with telehealth usage is travel time, gas, having to call out of work, lack of providers in rural area. Telehealth also allows for access or treatments for those who have health barriers, obtaining evaluation. An example of this is during the pandemic, where telehealth helped with those who could not come in due to being in lockdown. Um, early Telehealth also helps with early intervention because without early intervention, the client's symptoms may worsen. According to Lindgren, the use of telehealth to deliver ABA services is more cost effective and more effective in the overall reduction of the problem behavior in comparison with in home therapy. Telehealth is also beneficial when weather conditions make it difficult to drive. I personally live in Minnesota and the winters can be brutal here. And so telehealth offers a really good alternative on those days where the snow is just too much.
Many
And
thanks.
that is all I have for the opening statements.
Many thanks,
Thank you.
Mahima, and thank you for sharing your personal experiences with that. Okay, so now we will have the opening statement from the opposing side. Paula, you have 6 minutes.
Oh, it's Crystal. Crystal, you're muted.
Oh, Crystal, I'm sorry. Crystal, you
Hi,
have
everyone. My name is Crystal. I will be opposing the side of telehealth being used within ABA field as well as in special education. My first point and first disadvantage within telehealth being used is that the lack of child engagement that can occur throughout a session or throughout their time being in a classroom in special education. To be more specific, there can be a lot of instances of off task behavior from the child. Considering the clinician is not physically present, it is more likely the client will engage in off task behavior. And according to a study done by Pomales Ramos in 2023, 61% of clinicians reported that challenges rose when maintaining their attention. Moreover, the required equipment and technology became a distraction for clients due to buttons or children wanting to do non related activities with the equipment. Alongside that, leaving or eloping from the session also occurred multiple times. Lastly, within that disadvantage of child engagement, re-engaging the client is time consuming, which will in turn change the session structure and decrease available time to focus on other goals. Secondly, another downside to telehealth being used is caregiver involvement. As we know, caregivers and even teachers are a very crucial part in the implementation of telehealth. With that being said, caregivers are an essential part of telehealth ABA being provided effectively. Clinicians depended on the caregivers to remain engaged and present while also keeping that client engaged. And with that example, it's also important to note that 45% of clinicians in a study conducted by Pamalos Ramos as well stated there being difficulty with the involvement of caregivers. Alongside that, parents were also unable to participate due to other stressors, such as house responsibilities or work demands. Parents were unwilling to participate, or they had multiple kids to attend to in their home at the time of the session. And lastly, regarding this point, parents struggled to directly implement strategies which caused frustration, and clinicians noticed an increased difficulty with engaging younger children, along with children who had limited verbal skills. My third disadvantage to the statement of telehealth being effective is that there's trouble with effective implementation of treatment. So along that line, coaching parents is also one of the difficulties shown in many various studies. So considering clinicians relied on caregivers, it is important to note that clinicians focused on coaching strategies over telehealth. However, there were concerns with the fidelity of intervention of the parent implementing it with the child. There was also trouble with implementing behavioral management. Clinicians found it challenging for behavioral management skills to be practiced at all in the session whenever the clients would engage in challenging or aggressive behaviors. This was also part of a study conducted by Pomales Ramos in 2023. So, despite providing parent coaching at the moment, there was also very minimal what the clinicians could do at the moment, considering they were not physically present to be able to intervene. And my last point within that disadvantage is that there was also ineffectivity within prompting and offering reinforcements. Telehealth limits the use of physical prompting, which is also a downside. And providing social natural reinforcement is challenging considering it is less appealing to the client. Therefore, there were higher rates of escape maintained behavior as well. Also, lastly, one of the last disadvantages to telehealth being implemented is that 84% of clinicians in a study by Pomales Ramos reported barriers with the use of technology, which, as we know, for telehealth to be effective, there has to be the use of technology. But unfortunately, there were connectivity issues within the aspect of technology being used. And connectivity issues interrupted the session by influencing the clinician's ability to see or hear their clients. And this issue caused there to be missing information about the session. There were also limitations of the field of view. So therefore, if a clinician has a limited view of their client's environment, they will not be able to determine what stimuli is evoking their behaviors. Along with that, clinicians reported that the type of devices used there caused time lag and field of view being obstructed. Also, access to technology and internet was also a recurring issue. So it is important to note that clinicians may be limited to resources required to provide telehealth services. Similar to a clinician in the study conducted, their company did not provide a laptop or headphones. And also, lastly, just to close off my opposing statement, families from specific counties or of low income did not have effective Wi Fi or equipment to proceed with telehealth services. Therefore, overall, with all of these disadvantages put together, it is clear that telehealth is not necessarily the most effective way of offering treatment to clients, whether it's in the ABA field or special education.
Thank you so much, Crystal, for your opening statement. Now we will move on to the rebuttals. Okay, the affirmative side, you have 6 minutes to present your arguments.
Hi, everyone. My name is Paula, and as a supporter for the use of telehealth and ABA in special education, I will be countering some of the arguments made by my classmates who are not in favor of its use. With regards to the argument made of child engagement, specifically telehealth leading clients to engaging in off-task behaviors, one way to mitigate this is involving parents or caregivers. This can assist in keeping clients on track and leading to less off-task behaviors. Also, learning to be tech savvy can give one the knowledge to customize content that appeals to the client's interests, leading to capturing their attention and thus maintaining their engagement throughout sessions. For example, PowerPoints. They include features such as fonts, colors, backgrounds, animations, and slide transitions that capture the attention of the audience. In the same study that my classmate mentioned, the Pamelos Ramos study conducted in 2013, I found that many clinicians reported not receiving any training on telehealth service provision. This is important because lack of training leads to struggles in engaging effectively, which could have led to the number of clinicians that reported challenges related to maintaining clients' attention. Thus, training on telehealth service provisions may provide useful information on how to acquire the child's engagement. Also, incorporating breaks is another way to mitigate this issue brought up by my classmate. Implementing behavior interventions that incorporate breaks, like the Breaks Are Better program, has been shown to reduce problem behaviors related to avoidance of instructional activities, such as attention issues in students, and improve overall engagement. And this was a study that was found by Boyd and Anderson in 2013. And with regards to the argument of caregiver involvement that my classmate brought up, by providing the caregiver with flexible scheduling, it could actually help address the challenges faced by parents who juggle house responsibilities, work demands, and caring for other children during telehealth sessions. Also, parent training can help parents to directly implement strategies leading to a decrease in frustration. With regards to caregiver accuracy in the implementation of treatment, we're coaches at the end of the day. And after all, a coach provides guidance to support their learning process. So we're coaching parents to implement strategies over telehealth. It is expected that they make some errors. Making mistakes while learning is normal. And taking the time to observe the parent and provide constructive feedback could help to mitigate this fidelity issue the fidelity issue that was brought up, as it helps them to improve. With regards to exploring with the prompts, exploring alternative prompts may help to identify methods that are just as equally effective as physical prompts. Alternative prompts would bring the client closer to autonomy, since physical prompts require the most assistance. Another point that my classmate brought up was the technological difficulties from the use of telehealth. There are many programs out there that offer internet solutions and computer equipment to low-income families at a reduced cost or even for free. Some programs that I'm aware of is the Everyone On program. This program actually offers free or discounted laptops to low-income families. There's also another program, C's for People. This program provides low-cost technology, including computers, to low-income families as well. So if you do enough research, you'll be able to find some programs that can actually help to afford computers as well as internet. Overall, one thing I would like to address is that telehealth may be the only means for a client to access ABA services. In a study conducted by Yingling in 2021, more than half of all counties in the United States have no board-certified behavior analysts. So, dealing with these uncommon technological issues that may arise from telehealth, I believe outweighs the absence of treatment altogether, especially for those that do not have access to a board-certified behavior analyst or ABA services. Thus is my rebuttal regarding the use of telehealth and supporting.
Thank you so much, Paula. Now we will move on to the rebuttal for the opposing side.
Hello, my name is Gago. I'm going to present the rebuttal here. So I think that when looking at telehealth as a whole, we need to consider the overall accuracy and efficacy of it as it relates to session observation. The supporting side had stated that telehealth gives us insight into behavior in its natural environment. We'd like to argue that telehealth does not provide an authentic observation of a treatment session in the natural environment, and here's why. Observations made through telehealth are limited to the field of view of a camera, meaning there's an overall inability to view important environmental contexts that may be outside of the direct field of view. Behavior can be complex and influenced by many external variables. Environmental context can be crucial to identifying functions of behavior. It is easy to miss these variables when observation is conducted through a screen. Along with this, virtual observations can miss very important nuances of interpersonal interaction. Aspects of communication such as subtle body language or facial expressions that can possibly be signals of potential onset of challenging behavior may not be completely visible through a virtual medium. And these problems are further exacerbated by technological issues such as poor internet connection and latency. This graph up top from a study by Sapila Thomas and Broadhead 2024 gathered data from a survey of participants through the BACB email service regarding the most common barriers they experienced during telehealth observation sessions. As you can see, the largest barrier experienced by 66.7% of individuals was internet connectivity issues. This was followed by distractions at 36.2%. Connection issues and other distractions force staff to divide their attention and often completely remove attention from the client for uncertain periods of time. Having to manage the field of view and potential technological issues, all while engaging in discussions with the individual observing session and at the same time attending to the individual services are being provided for, can be very challenging and overall reduces the quality of care that the client is receiving. Along with this, if a severe challenging behavior occurs, such as elopement or aggression or self-injurious behaviors, it's not guaranteed that the individual observing is going to receive an accurate observation of that behavior. Challenging behavior takes many forms, and if the behavior is out of view, the entire incident can be completely missed. and this leads to the efficacy of telehealth observation sessions. According to Sapila, Thomas, and Broadhead, telehealth sessions are not as effective as in-person sessions when it comes to training staff members and modeling instructional strategies. When working with individuals who exhibit severe challenging behaviors, a lot of the work done is very hands-on and requires in-person training in order to adequately provide clinicians with the necessary tools to de-escalate and manage challenging behaviors. Here's another graph from the same study by Sapila, Thomas, and Broadhead at the bottom there. Here they also graphed the barriers supervisors faced during telehealth sessions. And the most frequent concern reported from supervisors was with the ability to model or demonstrate strategies, with 42% of supervisors reporting this as a barrier during supervision sessions. Following this, 40.6% of supervisors reported obstruction of view as the second most frequent barrier. These barriers make it difficult for supervisors to adequately train providers and in turn lead to poor treatment fidelity. We agree with the supporting side when pointing out the flexibility telehealth provides. However, over-reliance on telehealth usage will reduce the quality of care received by the client. One of the points mentioned by the supporting side was that telehealth can help BCBAs manage their heavy caseloads due to agencies taking on more clients than their staff for. And in response to that, we stress that telehealth should not be a solution for understaffing of BCBAs. The weight of BCBA caseloads should not impact the quality of care that the clients receive. These situations are what lead to an over-reliance on telehealth and ultimately to less effective interventions. Another point to address would be regarding the utilization of telehealth when the presence of a BCBA or service providers triggers disruptive or challenging behaviors. Relying on telehealth to avoid triggering unwanted responses from clients won't address the underlying causes for these behaviors. It's important to use those in-person opportunities to gather data on the specific circumstances and conditions these behaviors are occurring in, and ultimately create effective strategies to make meaningful improvements in that behavior. Overall, telehealth offers a convenient way to observe treatment. However, it lacks the responsiveness and nuance that comes with in-person observations. Thank you.
Thank you, Gago, for providing such insight. Now we will move on to the cross-examination segment, aka Q&A. The affirmative will have 2 minutes to act. Well, okay, no, we're gonna skip that part. I will state the questions for the Q&A. I'll have state generalized questions. So each side will have about 2 minutes. Okay. So the first question would be, what are your thoughts on a hybrid model that combines both telehealth and in-person services? Could this be a viable solution?
Yes, I do feel like this would be a viable solution. In person is necessary for things like physical examinations, procedures, treatments that cannot be conducted remotely. But telehealth is great for continuing care and seeing patients for like follow-ups, consultations, and any non-major reason. So being able to integrate both services would allow for utilization of both services, like the strength of both services, and ensure like comprehensive care for the patient.
Thank you,
So
Paul.
I would agree, yes.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to cut you off. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, no, I was just ending saying that yes, I think a hybrid would be pretty great for the patient.
Very insightful. Okay. Next question is regarding future innovations. How do you see future technological innovations impacting the field of special education and ABA therapy? I would like to volunteer for this question. Well, I'm a fervent believer in artificial intelligence. So I think this will be something that will benefit those who need our services the most. So it can provide like real-time insights and provide personalized interventions for those, like possibility they can wear a device that can catalog the behaviors and that quantify the data in real time. Okay. So thirdly, training and support. How is it for for educators and therapists to receive training in telehealth methods. What steps should be taken to ensure they are well prepared?
Yes, I believe it is very crucial that educators and therapists receive training. Clearly, as we heard before, there are many difficulties that occur that can affect the session and the effectivity of or the efficacy of the treatment being given. Therefore, I believe one of the steps that can be taken is addressing the technological difficulties. I believe that if the technological difficulties are resolved, it could make it a smoother process and transition into telehealth being used effectively. So I believe there should be some sort of, for instance, it could be through a Zoom call or face to face meeting, however, it may be that they're able to discuss details regarding technology. I believe it's important to address those. That way, in the moment when they do occur, whether it's at home or in school, those difficulties can be resolved. I also believe another step that can be taken is also cultivating another meeting to where they can discuss the certain problem behaviors that occur. I feel like when those behaviors occur in the moment, it is a much more difficult process to manage through. Whereas if it's discussed beforehand, along with the difficulties of technology, I believe that those two resolutions or solutions together can improve the use of telehealth being used. So, lastly, I believe that if the therapists and educators are coached enough, then I believe that it will also carry out an effective use of telehealth.
Thank you so much, Crystal, for your insight. How important is the feedback from students, parents, and educators in shaping the future of telehealth in special education and ABA therapy? I believe it's very important because we depend on the feedback of parents, students, and educators in shaping our clients' uh, therapeutic plans and so forth. Okay, so now we'll move on to the summary. Okay, I'm sorry, guys, can't really see it, but here it is. The rise of telehealth tech has completely changed how healthcare services like ABA and special ed are delivered. The COVID-19 pandemic had sped up its adoption, leaving folks wondering if it's really effective and sustainable. Some argue that telehealth could put the future of ABA and special education at risk, while others think it's a great alternative to traditional in person methods. The debate is split into different parts, with one side highlighting the perks of telehealth like flexibility, cost effectiveness, and better access to services. Meanwhile, the other side talks about the difficulties with engagement, caregiver involvement, and technology. In the end, they all agree that blending telehealth and in person services might be the best way forward to get the benefit of both approaches. Okay. Does anyone have any other input or insights?
I think, like you said, it's just kind of like blending, having good harmonization of both aspects. Over reliance on one, like telehealth specifically, would make it difficult for clients to get, quality care. But I could see the situations where something like that could be beneficial with like routine trainings, touching base with parents, and things like that. It could definitely come in handy. So aside from that, that's about all I have to say there.
Okay. Anyone else has any insights or would like to piggyback on what Gago stated? Okay, excellent. Well, thank you all for this wonderful, insightful debate. And thank you for your thoughtful arguments, respectful engagement. And this concludes our debate on whether telehealth should be widely adopted as a primary mode of healthcare delivery. I would like to thank the audience for your attention and participation. Have a great evening.